This is the story of the unlikeliest of trios, who very few rated, defying the odds on Rocket League's biggest stage. Who are they? Well, this is the story of Team Elevate and how they did the impossible. September 15, 2022. When it was first announced that Virtuoso, Realize and Kami were teaming under the name of Change G's, yes, you heard that right, in late 2022, many thought it was a joke. Actually, most people thought it was a joke. 3 players from 3 different countries teaming up into one team was almost unheard of. And to make it even crazier, they would be competing in the Asia Pacific region, also known as APAC. The APAC region had only been added to RLCS in early 2021, and it had still yet to win a series, and it only won 1 game on international land. So why would these 3 players from 3 different parts of the world choose to go into a region which hadn't had any international success? Well, it's for one reason. They wanted to not only dominate the region, but also get that very first series win. But first, they had to get to the LAN. With a new season of RLCS just around the corner, Elevate knew exactly what it had to do. It was only a matter of conquering APAC. Easy, right? In order for Elevate to qualify for the World Championship and get that shot at a series win, they had to accumulate points throughout the RLCS season and beat their rivals in the APAC region. In the previous season, 2 teams had shown themselves to be dominant in APAC. These were Gaming Gladiators, who qualified for Worlds last year, as well as Detonator, which was looking to prove itself in this split. The RLCS is made up of 3 different splits: Fall, Winter and Spring. Each split has 3 events, which allow you to qualify for an international LAN. Throughout all of this, you accumulate points so that you can qualify for Worlds. So it was vital that Elevate got off to a good start in the Fall split. And you could say they did.
It's Kami on the line, gonna take it under 1, the box they're on LCT, they finish it in a sweep. Because it is gonna be a 4-0 series for
with their 3rd regional win in a row for Asia Pacific. Champions are none other than James G's.
Elevate had not lost a series during the entire Fall split, only dropping 1 game the whole time. And so they earned themselves the opportunity to get that first series win on LAN. But let's just say it didn't go to plan. Going out in straight sets is always brutal, but Elevate had to pick themselves up and prepare for the winter split. However, it was a bit trickier this time round. In the first regional, they got knocked out by fellow rival Detonator, who ended up winning the regional. However, in the second regional, they bounced back, winning the whole thing. So it all came down to the Winter Invitational. It was a 3-horse race between them, Detonator, and Gaming Gladiators. All teams could theoretically make it to the major. And it eventually all came down to the grand final between Elevate and Gaming Gladiators. Elevate started strong, winning 3 games in a row to put themselves on series point and setting themselves up for the major. However, Gaming Gladiators did the unthinkable.
Is it 2 seconds on the clock, no time left, Elevate are gonna go down, Gladiators become your 3rd grand final champion and they secure the major.
Elevate got reverse sweeped, and as a result, their chances of making the LAN had completely evaporated. For the first time this season, they wouldn't be going to an international LAN. They had to sit back and watch, as once again, the APAC region went out in straight sets. Elevate now only had 1 more chance to make a major and secure Worlds for their team. It all came down to the spring split, and Elevate knew exactly what they had to do. In winning the first two regionals, Elevate had put itself in the best position possible to make Worlds. They still had to make sure that in the last regional they didn't bomb out early, and then the unthinkable.
Elevate, head to the lower bracket!
Elevate had to make the lower bracket run of a lifetime. And not only did they have to make this run, but they also had to beat one of their main rivals in Detonator. If they lost this series, their shot at the Spring Major would be over. They'd have one less opportunity to get that series win. And you could say they stepped up to the plate. Elevate, after having missed out on the Winter Major, had redeemed themselves and earned the right to try get APAC's first series win. And they didn't quite get the series win, however, they did something that had never been done in APAC this season. When Elevate was matched up against Vitality, almost everybody assumed that Vitality would sweep them in a 3-0. Vitality at this point was the best team in the world, being favourites for the major. And after the first game, it looked like this was probably going to happen. However, in Game 2, Elevate did something that had never happened before.
Into overtime we go. Elevate, pushing Vitality. Million chances. Go on, another go on! Yes! What a goal from Marilo!
After an intense overtime, Elevate had won APAC's first game ever on LAN. And although they ended up losing the series 3-1 and eventually bombing out in another 3-0, Elevate had broken the ice and ventured into territory that no APAC team had before. It was small steps towards what would eventually be a bigger goal. Elevate had conquered the APAC region and earned its place at Rocket League's biggest event, but it still had one thing left to do, and that was win a series on Rocket League's biggest stage. Could they do it? Could they do the impossible?
We are about to see G1 versus Elevate. Is this finally the moment Elevate get more than a game? You don't want to be the team that loses to Elevate. We are just about here. Let's see who's going to take it as we finally begin this battle.
To work their way back from.
Oh!
The first goal, our opener, falls to Virtuoso. Really? The absolute hero!
Out here on the B stream, Elevate get their series win against an EU.
Elevate, against all the odds, had proven the entire world wrong. They had finally achieved that goal and was officially the first APAC team to win a series on LAN. And you can just see how much it really meant afterwards.
Has been top of this region for literal years. Look at him, look at the reaction. This is the man who's been brought to tears talking about his journey into Rocket League way back at the start of last season.
Elevate had officially just shocked the world. So much so that some people started to doubt it. For a lot of people, doing it once isn't enough, and it was no different with Elevate. People began calling it a fluke, blaming G1 for being bad, and taking away from the fact that they had just made history. Well, Elevate wasn't going to have that. Elevate did proceed to lose the next series in a 3-0, which placed them in a matchup against KC Pioneers. the top team from the OCE region. To put it simply, they went in as underdogs yet again. But Elevate knew it had to prove itself once again in front of the entire world. Elevate had done the impossible not once, but twice, and now had cemented their place as a true contender to make the main event. No one had rated Elevate going into this event, no one thought they would win a series, and yet here they were, on the brink of making it out of the wildcard. Could they dare to dream? Elevate was in a position no APAC team had ever even dreamt of. They were coming up against Team Secret, and if they won this series, they would enter the main event of Worlds. Unfortunately for Elevate, it wasn't their time. But even though they lost, Elevate had done something truly remarkable and put APAC on the map, winning not one but 2 series against 2 quality opponents. And what makes it more remarkable is their journey to this position. How 3 players from 3 different parts of the world, who most people thought were a joke, that everybody completely wrote off, did the impossible not once, but twice. And who knows, maybe in a year's time, I'll be making another video about how Team Elevate did the impossible.